We are now presenting In the Beginning, the story of creation. In the beginning, before time began, there was nothing. Nothing to see, nothing to hear, nothing to touch or smell. There was only silence. God moved alone through the inky darkness.
And then God created the heavens and the earth was covered by water. Let there be light, God said. It wasn't faint at first, a flicker in the darkness that grew and grew. It became a glowing ball that pushed the gloom aside, soft and yellow, then red, pink, and dazzling gold.
God delighted in its loveliness, the changing light seemed like a light of its own, and God called it day. When the light faded into the darkness, He made it night. It was the very first day of the week.
On the second day, when the light came back, God made the sky. It was a soft, bright blue, and it hung over the earth like a canopy. On the third day of the world, God drew back the choppy waters so that solid ground appeared. The great pools of water, blue like the sky and shimmering in the light, He named seas. He called the big, muddy areas of ground land.
The land was flat and bare, so God shaped it into mountains, plains, and deep valleys. Under His guiding hand, greenery covered the earth. Grasses and plants of every size, shape, and color took root. Sweet-smelling flowers blossomed, sticky buds opened, and vines coiled upwards. Trees sprang from the ground, their branches reaching for the sky, growing tall and heavy with fruit. The earth had become lush and green and brimmed with plant life. On the fourth day, God said, "Let there be signs to mark the day and night." He made the flowery sun to show the day, and the gentle moon to shine at night. During the day, the moon gave the shadows. At night, the sun turned its golden face away, while the moon cast its silver beams over the land.
God also brightened the night sky with millions upon millions of tiny glittering stars. He felt pleased with the beautiful world he had created. God's new world was a peaceful land full of flowers, trees, and rushing rivers. But there were no birds to perch in the trees, and there were no bees to buzz from flower to flower, nor fish sleep through the waves. The only sounds were the whisper of the wind among the leaves and the waves lapping the shores.
On the fifth day, God filled the waters with living creatures. Suddenly the sea teemed with fish that moved as one. He made whales that sent great plumes of spray high up into the sky, and dolphins that leaped playfully in and out of the waves. He made jellyfish that shimmered like moonlight, shellfish that sparkled like precious stones, and tiny crabs that laid their claws in the ocean.
Then God said, "Let there be creatures of the air that will fill the sky with life." There began a great fluttering of feathers and flapping of wings, and a cloud of birds of all shapes and sizes rose into the sky. Tiny chirping sparrows mingled with colorful parakeets and silent gliding hawks. The sky was alive with color and sound, as the twittering birds found shelter among the trees and bushes, discovered food, and washed their feathers in the bright streams. Their happy songs filled God's ears, and he blessed them. On the sixth day of the world, God said, "Now that there be creatures on the land," and the earth began to shake with the thunder of 1,000 feet. The world hummed with voices large and small, jostling to be heard. Regal lions prowled beside mighty elephants and rhinos. Monkeys slunk through the trees, cackling to each other, and bears lumbered through the undergrowth. Fierce animals paced side by side in the gentlest of God's creatures. Everyone from the tiny shrews to the tall giraffes was looking for a new home. Some liked the cool of the snowy mountains, and some preferred the heat of rainforests. Snakes slithered into jungles, crocodiles hid in rivers, and squirrels climbed tall trees. The world was with life. God looked around and was happy with what he saw, but something was missing.
Who will care for the animals? God asked himself. He took handfuls of earth and shaped a creature who looked like him. He breathed life into him and called him man. Then he took a rib from the man. With the rib, God created woman. The man and woman
women opened their eyes and stared around them in wonder. Slowly they stretched their arms and legs and rose to their feet. They stood in front of God, holding hands, as beautiful and innocent as a new world. God blessed them and named the man Adam and the woman Eve. Your job is to look after the wonders I have created, he said. You will rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and every creature on the earth. You are free to eat the wonders of earth. I want you to enjoy your life here. God's work was done. The world is every bit as beautiful as he has imagined. It was the seventh day, and God rested. Next, God made a beautiful garden for Adam and Eve and named it Eden. There were flowers and trees full of delicious fruit to eat, and velvet soft grass to lie on. A sparkling stream gave Adam and Eve clean water to drink. There was a huge tree in the middle of the garden. Its branches reached into the sky with outstretched arms, and God named it the Tree of Knowledge. You can pick fruit from any tree in the garden except the tree of knowledge, he told Adam and Eve. If you eat from that tree, you will die. Adam and Eve listened to everything God told them. They had all that they needed and they were happy. They cared for the animals and the garden just as God told them. One day, Eve was picking berries near the tree of knowledge when she heard rustling in the leaves of the tree. A snake was watching her, its tongue flicking in and out. Smell the sweet fruit, Snake hissed. Try it. Taste it. No, Eve replied. God has told us we must not eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge or we will die. The snake shook its head. It would make you as wise as God had said. Just one bite would make you a goddess. The snake's words made Eve long to try it. Slowly she plucked the ripe fruit and drew it toward her. It smelled sweet and delicious. Her heart thumped with fear and excitement. Eve could not resist. She took a tiny bite of the fruit. Adam saw her. Although he knew it was wrong, he burned with curiosity. So Eve handed him the fruit, and he tried it. Smiling, the snake slithered away. God knew at once what Adam and Eve had done. He was upset and angry. You must leave Eden, God told them. From now on, the lives of humankind will be full of trouble and worry. Now that you have eaten from the tree of knowledge, your bodies will eventually die, but I will find a way to save you. Adam and Eve shivered and wept as they left Eden behind them. Greed had taken them from a place of gentle breezes to a cruel world, where the wind bit and the rain soaked their bodies. But God, who loves his people, gave Adam and Eve something very special. He gave them hope. Perhaps one day, he told them, humankind
of God. Thank you. That was from pre-K through third grade, Fairmont